community in Africa that they know in tradition that they are Hebrews, that they're from child of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. They know it for sure. You have communities that are running services and prayers by the halakha, keeping Shabbat and eating kosher. They know their roots. Like, you can't argue with them. They're stronger than you. They will tell you who they are. They don't ask you even. And they have the Bible and it's all written over there, and they don't have no problems in life. Except of that we're not able to accept them, to recognize the godliness of the holy tribes that is treasured inside them, their souls. And you have the problem not recognizing your own brother and not understanding that there's a way to let him back in. Because we have today all the power to do that. We have all the sources, we have the land, we have everything we need. Except of the key to our hearts that is still missing. A huge community in Africa that they know in tradition that they are Hebrews, that they're from child of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. They know it for sure. You have communities that are running.
There you have it, from the apostle mouth himself. Like they say, the devil's mouth, whatever, the main source. Before I begin this lesson and expose this madness, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to the Most High Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, whom the word ignorantly and willingly called Jehovah and Jesus and a bunch of other names that is not the true names. Double honor to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the holy apostles and prophets and men of God back to them in the reincarnation, whom the Most High set up, the true leaders, the true teachers, the true men of God in the reincarnation, standing their lots, pushing the word out, true sincerity and charity. Like the scripture says, man, Isaiah 8 and 20, I'm going to grab that real quick. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So if a person not speaking according to the word, which predates us all, which is way advanced than us all, which is more credible than us all, if a person not speaking according to the law and the testimony, according to the prophecy was written, according to the light, according to the standard, ain't no light in them, ain't no truth in them. They cannot even be held in high regards because they're not speaking the words of the Creator. And the Holy Bible is the words of the Creator. It is our book, okay? It ain't a fairy tale book. It's not a white man book and nothing these people like to throw out there. That's just justification for people's ignorance and lack of accountability and wickedness. But nevertheless, if a person not speaking according to this, is because ain't no light in them. They ain't got the truth. So going back to this video, I definitely played it. It give you a little quick little insight, same thing, different way of saying it, about how we are the true Jews, the so-called blacks, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians. We are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are the so-called sons and descendants of Israel, our forefather Jacob, who suffered the curses. And our spirit bear witness that we are the people, due to the things that we suffer to this day. The most famous transatlantic slave trade that's in the scriptures, that's found in the scriptures, and the curses that just follow us, and the stigma that's just on our people today proves alone we are the chosen of the Most High. We are the true people of the Bible. I'm gonna grab this real quick. Because the guy mentioned talking about we got the power to bring them back in and let them back in. We never went nowhere, man. We just discontinued from our heritage, because we messed up. And the Most High allowed the enemy to reign over us and get above us according to the curses. We were going to become the tail and not the head. So when these heathens became the head, they perverted the way. They changed the truth into a lie, as Romans said. They changed a lot of things around when they got their little 10 minutes of fame and power. Now they're in our land. They acting as if they're the chosen people, and they're not. Because if you read Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, it tells you that the way things are going now over there, it can't be the prophecy which Isaiah's 2nd chapter touches on. Isaiah the 2nd chapter tells us there's not going to be war anymore. But how is it war going on with the so-called Israelis and the so-called Palestinians, the people of Palestine? which that's all madness, and it's a big controversy and debate and fighting over our land, and none of them don't even have ties to that land. In their head they do, but they don't. There's Romans 11 and verse 1. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid, for I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God have not cast away his people which he foreknew. Will ye not what the scripture saith of Isaiah, how he maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thy altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. Not Isaiah, Elijah. This is the account of Elijah where he's, referring back to. But nevertheless, the point is God didn't cast away his people. God didn't cast away his people. He would never cast away his people. And the scripture says the Most High don't change. Ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. It's just a little quick lesson on the fly. I ain't really got nothing lined up. There's Malachi 3 and 6. For I am the Lord Yahweh. And that's the true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Yeshua, not all that madness that's out here. It says, I change not. So the scripture tells us the Most High don't change. He not finna cast away his people and then just go deal with a whole nother new nation and give his laws, statutes, commandments unto a whole nother strange nation. The scripture says the Most High is not going to do that. He won't do that. Never will he. It says, therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So it still is the same bloodline that the Most High is dealing with, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Most High is not a man that he shall lie. That's throughout the scriptures. He's not a man that he can't lie. Okay, so therefore, he didn't cast us away. Salvation still remains the same for the people that it was already given to from the start. The thing is, 2/3 don't want it, and the 1/3 want it. So that's what we're dealing with in the end times, where 2/3 of our people is rejecting the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, rejecting the heritage, the customs, the culture, to take on and embrace things of naught. Things the so-called devil wants you to embrace and accept. When I say the devil, the spiritual and the physical. Okay, because we just seen a video from the physical devil himself, this imposter, the fake hook nose, the little hat wearing people, man. They're not the chosen people. And the Bible tells you that. And the Bible also tells you that the Most High don't change. Therefore, we are not consumed. And how is that? The Lord got a remnant. The Most High gave his only begotten son. And that's why I read in Isaiah 20, if a person not speaking according to that is because there's no light in them. Scripture tells you that these people are imposters. Seneca. This Revelation chapter 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. Who suffer the most tribulation and poverty? The true chosen, the sons of Jacob. It says, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So the people claiming to be the Jewish community, the Israeli community, the Bible tells us that's not a movement of Most High. That's a movement of men. Those are things of men. Those are ways of men. Okay, and they claiming to be the Jews and they're not. That's why they're called Jewish, pertaining to be like. Like if I say you're acting child, excuse me. Like if I say you're acting childish, but you're a grown man, clearly you're not a child. Clearly you cannot be a child, but you're acting with childish behavior. Same thing with these people in the video, man. They're not the true Jews. They're not. By far, the Lord is not dealing with them. But according to prophecy, we understand and know why they're doing what they're doing. Why they're claiming to be someone. Why they're in our land. Why they got control. Scripture says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Esau, Edom. The book of Malachi goes into that. Who is Esau, Edom? Our evil twin brother. Which happen to be who they descend from. But now they claim they have power to let us back in and to forgive us and do right. And that's madness, man. You can't give nothing that was never yours in the first place to give. The Most High giveth and taketh away. The Most High set up one and take one down. It's not up to men who they want and put in power. That's something these people do here on earth. That's something the spiritual demons. That's something the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon, Satan, is devil, Satan. That's what they do on earth. They give slots, they give rewards to people that spread madness, lies, and folly. You know, they have the power to change things on earth, but even then, that counsel, that order is sanctioned in heavens. All to go back to the Most High. You can do nothing against the truth before it, man. The Most High controls everything. So you don't have no power to give or take anything because a prophecy said you all were going to do this. This Revelation chapter 3 verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. This man is lying. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So all the fakes, all the imposters, they're going to know at the end, and they're going to be ashamed, confounded, and they're going to be rewarded with what? Not a good reward, but a bad one. Slavery, destruction, being confounded. You know? I'm going to grab this other scripture. I believe this is scripture real quick. Like I said, just on the fly, so I'm kind of like getting the things as the Spirit giving it to me. Controversial. Is that it? I'm gonna just get the scripture down. Can't really find it. I don't really quote it. It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 1. For behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So not only did they scatter the apple of the Lord eye, they parted the land. And you could look up the 1940, basically when Israel was declared as a state. I think it's in 1948 and 1949, you know, which our elders and apostles classified them as the 1949ers, in which they were given a green light to set up and make Israel, declare Israel as a state. All that was a movement of men. That was not backed by the Most High. That was not backed by prophecy. That was the movement of men when Satan had that little time to be loosed and going out to deceiving the people. And that's part of one of his deceptions as well, trying to get you to believe that the so-called chosen people look like them. You know, when they got in power, when they got in rulership, they changed all the images. They changed all the narrative. They rewrote history. They burned things. They concealed things. And they put what they wanted you to have out there. But guess what? You can do nothing against the truth before it. Because guess what? That's all is backbiting. It's all coming down on them. It's all blowing up in their face because, again, they're not the true Jews. They're not the true people. But they will want to have you think that. When Satan was loose that little period of time, he would want to have you think that. But now from the devil's mouth, from the source himself, he's speaking. Now, of course, he's speaking facts, but he threw lies in there as well, man. You know, he threw very well lies in there by still thinking he's the true Jews. And we have to do something, this and that, to get back into the good graces. That's madness. Ain't no we being grafted back in. Those that's being grafted in are the Israelites that fell away, that were Hellenized, that took on heathen customs. And if they acknowledge their sins and offenses, they're going to come back and be saved, just as we were. And if not, they're going to die and be in a 2/3 club. You know, some look like other nations, some like your average Israelite. But if their bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then there's nothing you can do about them waking up to their heritage, putting on as the elect and getting salvation, or waking up to their heritage, putting on as the 2/3 and getting destruction. At the end of the day, the truth is gonna come out. The truth is gonna speak, and it's not gonna lie. You know, the scripture says, "My word will not return back void." You know, word will not turn back void. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, and verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. And who's the mouth of the Lord? The prophets. The prophets out here tell you the truth. Wisdom crieth without, as it is written, telling you who the true Israelites are, according to prophecy, according to the fact that these curses were placed upon us for a sign and a wonder, as it is written, so you can know who the true people are. Our spirit bear witness we are the true people. This is the words of the Most High, and it's coming from straight out of the mouth of his prophets, men in the flesh on earth, who the Most High ordained and set up to push the word, teach the word, and get salvation. And it ain't these other nations, ain't the Africans, the Arabs, and the so-called white man. The works that they're doing are abominable. The tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. If he is so-called doing something good and nice, it's a wicked agenda behind it. Or he doing that for the overplay, for the underlay, to cover up, smoke and mirrors, man. To have some evil, wicked, sinister agenda or plot behind it. So we don't go off what we see, or people that do clothes drives or turkey drives or giving out for the homeless. The scripture says, no good to whom thou doest. Basically, roughly quoting the scripture, basically, you don't want to help a sinner. You want to help a godly man. And no good, know who you helping out, like the scripture says, roughly paraphrasing and quoting. Know who you helping out. You just want to be helping out anybody, laying hands suddenly on no man, because that same person you helping or putting in a position could be a reprobate, a man void of judgment. And no matter how much money you give him, how much land you give him, he's still going to be a reprobate, wicked, covetous individual. And that's outside the scriptures. That's the true meaning of profane. That's outside of the temple. That's outside of the ways of the Lord, the standards, and the regular way of life. It says, it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper the thing whereunto I sent it. So the words of the Most High is prospering. It will prosper. And there is no lie of the truth. But men lie, women lie, but the scriptures don't lie, man. And that's the whole point of the lesson I want to make, because they're not the true Jews, none whatsoever. And the scripture says that, So Lord, let's edify. I want to give all praise to the Most High. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, double honor to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his word in true sincerity and charity. Shalom to the Most High, who giveth us this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, man. Shalom to you brothers that's fighting and striving for salvation and mercy. Shalom, Wa Abba, Paul.